This is a rather amusing image. I am laying down on my sideways about to react to the Christmas Story live by the Nostalgia Critic. I've seen the first film. I've seen the Christmas Story only once, maybe twice, but I remember seeing it in high school during some of the Christmas stuff. And I watched the review of the second, and judging by the reception and stuff, yeah, it's poorly received and stuff. But yeah. And now Christmas Story live. Let's see what he's got.
This episode brought to you by Stamps.com. Why go to the store to get stamps when you can have them printed right at home for your convenience? Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. Guy, remember it?
I summon ye Christmas!
Of course, he has to make his Christmas itches and stuff.
Ho, ho, ho!
There, I did a nice little Christmas intro and nobody got hurt, no worlds blew up or anything, everything is good. I don't hear that. I don't hear that either. Whatever it is, I'm sure it had nothing to do with my Christmas intro.
Critic.
How is that even possible? Anyway, let's talk about live shows.
Critic.
Since pretty much the dawn of television, live shows have been a very regular thing. But they've had a bit of an explosion these past 5 years. Shows like The Sound of Music with Carrie Underwood, Peter Pan with Christopher Walken, and The Wiz with Queen Latifah have been raking in big numbers for NBC. Clearly because they were good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Awkward kitsch is a kind of good. Not wanting to be left out of the musical equivalent of dogs playing poker, Fox decided to throw their hat into the ring with Grease Live with Vanessa Hudgens and the Rocky Horror Picture Show with Laverne Cox. The specials apparently did well enough to warrant what Fox was hoping to be the crowning achievement of hokiness, because Lord knows we haven't made it hokey enough already, A Christmas Story. In America's need to destroy this movie, A Christmas Story Live does its best to turn that small-town innocent family classic with a hint of an edge into a tacky singing Hallmark card covered in falling glitter with an unfunny joke inside. But where a card only gives you a second of annoyance, this one delivers 2 hours and 15 minutes of cyanide fruitcake. And that's without commercials. With commercials, it's 3 goddamn hours! The special is like a forgettable ugly sweater that someone paid millions of dollars to glamour up, creating an even more forgettable ugly sweater. It's the kind of special that rips out what was charming and fresh from the original and replaces it with what Google Translates would interpret as charming and fresh. It's a miserable experience from beginning to end, so let's look it over from beginning to end. This is why Christmas can't have nice things. Let's take a look at Christmas Story Live. I'll try this again. Let's take a look at Christmas Story Live. Okay, my bad. I seem to have put on Old Navy Presents a Camp Rock Christmas. What's that? The fictional person I'm pretending is off camera to make this joke work is telling me this is in fact A Christmas Story. Don't know how I didn't recognize that! I mean, Christ, literally the first scene is 100% wrong. It took effort to be this wrong. It's like starting off a Christmas classic everybody knows like this.
Me so horny. Me so horny.
Well, now I feel obligated to say this. Don't do that, Fox! We actually know you would now! So after trying to make Ralphie's bunny pajamas somehow hot, we bizarrely have enough sexy rabbits, thank you. Something kind of resembling A Christmas Story finally starts. And at first, I will admit, it is impressive to think this is all done live. The shots, the visuals, the movement, the timing. This would all be difficult to do on its own, taking out that you have to get it done on the first take. But sadly, it's narrated by an actor who's known for giving a performance like it's his first take. Matthew, he was good in that one thing. Broderick. Broderick's entire performance is the most constant reminder that this is live. Because he's so incredibly awkward that you swear rather than creating emotion first and racing against the clock second, he's racing against the clock first and creating emotion never.
I had renewed reasons for optimism. Santa was on the case. I'd heard a lot of no in the past 3 weeks from no less than Santa himself. Lake Michigan was so polluted you could run halfway to Milwaukee before you sank to the bottom. Here it is. Here it is, the house on Cleveland Street. Ah, Higbee's. The high water mark of the pre-Christmas season.
Everything he says is like the flower shop scene from The Room. Any human feeling accidentally entering the equation is clearly an indirect byproduct.
For months I'd been thinking of the Red Rider and nothing else. Now here it was, the real thing.
That's a lot of shit. Maya Rudolph plays Ralphie's mom, and Ralphie is played by Andy Walken. No relation to Christopher Walken that I know of, yet somehow he still inherited every one of his scary faces.
Don't seem desperate, or you're done.
Okay, before I go too harsh on this kid, he is a kid, and he's still learning, and to his credit, he's been in a lot of other stuff. Movies, a steady gig on a TV show. I legitimately hope his talent grows and he has a nice long career.
But it's bad.
But when you put that kid in eye-warping glasses with frames so black even Tim Burton would say too dark on a live show where you can't always get the best lighting, flattering camera angles, and you're encouraged to come across big and silly, unchecked, that kid can be terrifying. Look at the way the shadow hits his eyes. He looks like Harry Potter turning into Gollum. Did you know the same director of A Christmas Story also directed Black Christmas? You would if he put these shots of that kid in both of them. Okay, well, let's hope his singing can balance things out.
Then there's Mother. She can be tough. I'll drop a couple hints.
He's really good and the kids are all right. Anyway, he's just a little boy. What's Broderick's excuse?
That's right, boys. Take it from me. Me, if you want to keep your homestead free of villains, I give you full blue.
Oh, one of these days the Blue Fairy will come and make me a real actor. There's nothing wrong with your monitor, by the way. The aspect ratio keeps changing. I'm assuming this is whenever there's a fantasy Ralphie is having. Which means there must have been some confusing thoughts he was going through when these women came out in his PJs.
Gosh!
Okay, look, kid, I really hope one day you can look back and be like, remember Christmas Story Live? Wasn't that funny how much that didn't work and I didn't belong there? But now I'm a huge star making millions and everybody loves me. Ha ha ha! I can look back and laugh now. It's funny. Ha ha ha! But for right now, ah! The special is interrupted by a nice recognition of the first responders to last year's California wildfires.
Please join us in honoring the first responders who put their lives on the line to serve and protect us all.
But I'll admit, it's a little muddied where immediately after, instead of promoting a wildfire charity you could give to, it instead pushes a special Twitter emoji if you tweet their hashtag. Oh, heck with those wildfires, I want that emoji! I just like that. If you've seen the original, a lot of this will seem familiar. Ralphie drops hints that he wants a BB gun, the father fights with the furnace slaps him, I guess, and legitimately good improv overshadows this prop malfunction.
Let me look at the bills, the bills, the bills, the bills, the bills. Would you get that, honey, please? Oh, what is this here? Yeah, oh, we've got our bills.
My God, that was the only part of the musical that actually felt genuine. It felt real and not forcibly overblown, much like the original. So, the only part of A Christmas Story Live that actually felt like a Christmas story was literally by accident! There's a profound Zen riddle in there somewhere, but it's distracted by another shitty song number. This one's about crosswords. Of course, that's what was missing from the original.
Back to your favorite quiz show, Are You a Genius?
Hey, where's the bars in this one? It was in all of the other fantasies, why isn't it in this one? Are we supposed to assume this isn't a fantasy and there's actually a game show going on in his kitchen? Yeah, about as much as Broderick's line delivery here isn't the loudest cry for help this musical can muster.
With Rinso, it's easy to pretend everything is fine.
Production denial never felt so benign.
Tinkerbell's pal, forever a boy, Peter.
Peter. Yeah, 3 letters? Yeah, Peter, Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, that's not gonna fit.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna win with that encyclopedia knowledge.
Here's the intro to the bullies, and again, listen to the original narrator. The author of the book talked about these people as if they were real compared to a professional, world-famous actor who does this for a living.
God, Farkas, what a rotten name. Staring out at us with his yellow eyes. He had yellow eyes, so help me God, yellow eyes.
Scott Farkas. Even his name sounded mean and dirty. And Farkas had yellow eyes. I swear he did.
But to be fair, Broderick got paid a lot of money to do this, and the author only did it because he wanted to.
When you're a
We get a song about how rotten the bullies are, and the more I watch, the more I realize the songs themselves actually aren't that bad for what they are. They have good melodies and clever lyrics, but they belong in a big over-the-top production, which is not what Christmas Story was ever meant to be. They were little scenes that felt real because they were little. It's like the brother crying in the kitchen. That's so sweet and feels so real because it's allowed to be a smaller moment. I feel like here if they did that scene, they'd just be like, under the sink, under the
Oh, come on, not that Little Mermaid song.
Up for that with comic gold, like the teacher, played by Jane Krakowski, being obsessive compulsive.
Our first activity of the day will be...
What you saw adds nothing to anything and should have been left out. Our apologies.
If I could get Miss Shields to sympathize with my plight, she might phone my mother and implore her to get me that gun.
That doesn't sound cryptic at all.
Those assholes that owe me that drug money will pay! Nobody messes with Gangsta Ralphie! Nobody!
Ralphie to the rescue! Oh.
He has another fantasy about saving people with his BB gun. Again, not a bad number on its own, but in the original it's short and sweet, only 2 minutes. In this version, it's 6. 6 minutes of this! It's so long, boring, and pointless, I almost pray there will be a screw-up to make things more interesting.
But I think that everyone should have a Red Ryder BB gun.
Oh, sorry, the mics in my fantasy forgot to turn off. We then follow that fantasy with another fantasy. Yeah, remember how they were spaced out in the original? Stupid! As now the mother gets a song about being a mother. And boy, does she do a great impersonation of Russell Crowe from Les Mis.
The floors have been scrubbed like a woman possessed, and we're steady and stable.
Oh, wow.
And piles of paper appearing right out of thin air. Because that's what a mother does.
I didn't know you could go through 2 puberties, or that your voice could crack 3 times while it happens.
The very best Christmas there ever was.
That's singing.
Excuse me for a minute. I need to go back where I was talking about Ralphie singing. He's really good and the kids are all right. But he does sing better than Maya Rudolph. I'm assuming that'll make sense later.